The station for knowledge and entertainment, Life FM 103.9, your only law radio station. Let's get straight to the newsstand and check out what the papers are reporting this morning. The Guardian newspaper is first this Tuesday, the 6th of June. Petrol subsidy removal is the boldest headline you find on the cover page here. Labour undeterred by court order. TUC demands 200,000 naira minimum wage. That right there you find on the cover page, and above that, Nigeria's imports squeezed by cash scarcity, fall by 25.8% year on year. Again, Nigeria's imports squeezed by cash scarcity, falls by 25.8% year on year. Empty streets, short businesses, grits and bars sit at home, ban in Enugu. And just below the cover page, that's the Guardian newspaper this Tuesday. How proposed Nigeria Labour Congress strike may affect presidential election petition. Joresu suspends strike for 21 days after parley with Tinubu. Universities and fledgling e-libraries. That's a news analysis you find inside the Guardian newspaper today. Universities and fledgling e-libraries. Away from that, 1 year after our Catholic Church remembers victims, an international monetary fund tasked Nigeria on revenue generation debt management. You find that on business page 15 of the Guardian newspaper today.
And on the Nation newspaper, you have on the top page, you have fracas as Ogun Tribunal begins sitting. Proceedings not affected. That's on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. You also have don't hoard intelligence. Tinubu directs security agencies. That's on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Swiftly now to page 2 of the same Nation newspaper, but on the front page, you have Jimo Ibrahim rates President's development plan high. Health workers call off strike conditionally. That's also on page 2. Still on the Nation newspaper, you have Obi didn't win in Nasarawa. Atiku's witness tells court. Labour Party tenders result from 8 more states. You also have Uzodinma, APC governor supporting Abbas, Kalu, Akpabio, Wike, Umahi visits Aso Rock. What have they gone to do in Aso Rock? Why did they even go in the first place? Pick up the Nation newspaper to get more details on that. Labour Party suspends strike. That's a bold headline on the Nation newspaper. You also have Gambari hands over to Gbajabiamila. You have Okiro Tinubu will end security crisis. Why is he saying that? Where did he say these words? You pick up the Nation newspaper to get more details. You also have talks between government, TUC, NLC on palliative implementation for June 19th. That's a repeat story. You also have NNPCL pegs ex-depot price at 479 naira 50 kobo per barrel to a litre, or well, that's to a litre. Subsidy removal necessary, says Olawepo Hashim. Then you also have another headline. Court dismisses Keyamo's suit seeking Atiku's arrest for alleged corruption. Yes, we brought you that story, but it's on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper. Well, that's all we have from the Nation newspaper this morning.
Alrighty, from the Nation newspaper, we'll go to the Punch newspaper. Subsidy is also on the cover page here. Nigeria Labour Congress cakes as court stop strike. Police warn hoodlums. That's the lead here. But away from that, presidential election. Atiku witnesses alleged poll fraud. Foreign trade declines by 2.6 trillion naira over forex shortage. That's according to the National Bureau of Statistics. And just beside that, you find this: Nigeria Air reps grill federal government officials today. All right, 1 billion naira petrol, other small goods seized in May. That's according to Customs. Federal government records 930 billion naira 2-month fiscal deficit. This is credited to the Central Bank of Nigeria. Tinubu turn economy around, credited to Jimo Ibrahim. And one sad story here on the cover page of the Punch newspaper today is this: Unilag undergraduate shot dead over stolen phone. Very sad story, very sad one. Alrighty then, yeah, that is that. Those are the stories or papers we're checking out for you this morning, this Tuesday morning on the Low FM Morning Show. It's now time to get talking about these headlines and the stories behind them. Joining us to do that this morning is Gbenga Ayannuga Paul. Good morning to you, Gbenga.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Gbenga. Good morning to you, and thanks for being there.
Good morning, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Okay, in a moment, when we're done with the newsstand, we'll go to the discourse where we'll talk about this suspended strike. It was supposed to happen tomorrow. It's now been suspended by the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress. But there was a meeting with the federal government yesterday. We'll talk about that on the discourse in a moment. But in the meantime, let's look at some of the other stories we found on the cover pages this morning. We've read those headlines to you, and of course, it's time to talk about that with Gbenga standing by for that. All right, let's begin with this story about President Tinubu's directive to security, the security chiefs, and he's requested that security and intelligence agencies in the country share information and intelligence among themselves, saying hoarding such resources can be counterproductive in the fight against terrorism. Tinubu spoke yesterday in Abuja after a tour of the new office of the National Security Advisor and facilities at the National Counterterrorism Center. The president declared, quote, "You can't have disharmony in an orchestra. We must focus on one tunnel, coordinate, share information, share intelligence, and work harder." You cannot hoard information. You cannot hoard intelligence. I'm glad that Nigeria is on the path to succeed. We will, I assure you, we will make it a priority, and that is why I'm here this morning. End of quote. He was speaking yesterday in Abuja. Gbenga, your thoughts on this charge, this demand from the president, this charge by the president to the security chiefs?
I think it's a timely call by the president to the security chiefs. One, it shows those who are watching the steps and the body language of the new president as to his desire to ensure that there is peace and security in the country. So it gives them the kind of signal that they need to tell them that, see, you can come in and invest in the country. There's a new sheriff in town who is on top of security matters. Secondly, we know that worldwide, it's not just a Nigerian thing, that security agencies usually have rivalry among them. They are like siblings in a household who always have this sibling rivalry among them. And most of the sibling rivalries among security agencies are always counterproductive. Take, for example, during the Chibok incident, during the Jonathan administration, we were told that they had information several hours before the incident happened. But maybe along the line, the information was forwarded, wasn't forwarded to the appropriate authority, or the person or authority that it was forwarded to didn't need to forward it to others to collaborate together with to nip it in the bud. And so we have Chibok. The same thing happened in the other place, what's the name of this town, I think in Bassey State, now Yobe State, Bassey. The same thing happened in Bassey, where the kidnapping took place and several hundreds of young people were taken away. And it is not just a Nigerian thing. We always see rivalries between FBI and CIA, between the state police and the federal police in the U.S. I mean, for those of us who have been watching this, even if we are not there, maybe we see some of these things portrayed in movies. So the president now calling them that if we want to solve this security menace that is going to eat us all up, the earlier we start collaborating and cooperating, sharing information, the better for all of us. So it's a timely call by the president, and the amount of meetings that they have been having with these people shows the seriousness to other event watchers from around the world who want to know whether to put their money on Nigeria or not.
Yeah, but taking this, more perspective to this, if you look at Nigeria, like Nigeria has basically 6 geopolitical zones, and all these political zones have different issues. Some locations or some zones will not require military action. This is just an aside though. In the appointment of, say, the National Security Advisor, what are you looking at so that they can coordinate intelligence or share intelligence within and amongst themselves? And then the issue about tackling insecurity as per needs basis, not because there's insecurity generally, so we have to use just one approach in tackling insecurity. So the question is appointment of the National Security Advisor to ensure that there is no information gap or the intelligence being shared between the different agencies are properly coordinated, because you know that office of the National Security Advisor is like the warehousing body for all intelligence.
As far as I'm concerned, the person I want to see as my National Security Advisor is someone who is not a bootlicker and who is a professional security personnel, someone who can boast of nothing less than 20 to 30 years of security exposure and experience, both at local and international level. Because this is important in the sense that, and then also someone who is being tribalized, who cares more about results than the tribe of whatever officers he wants to delegate actions to. That's what I want to see in my National Security Advisor. Nigeria and very experienced when it comes to security, because no matter the amount of things you and I watch, we may not understand the nitty-gritty of the core or the nucleus of security and how they operate. And of course, they know that they are not going to. You can't use a simple approach to solve the plethora of problems. It's going to be multimodal approach across different regions, across different zones. They know all of these things. But if we have a good head in place in the person of the National Security Advisor, we'll be able to advise appropriately key people that need to hold key offices across all the security architectures in all the different zones, such that they will be able to manage whatever uprising that is happening in all those zones right now. In some zones, it's just simple dialogue that will kill all the uprisings in those zones. In some zones, it's just simple release of certain persons of interest who are currently incarcerated that will make the situation die down. In some zones, it's just, economic activities in those zones that will, reduce the crime rates in those zones. So all this multimodal situation require multimodal approach, and having a good head, a competent head, not someone who is afraid of the presidency, who only wants to dance to the tune of the president, but someone who will be bold enough to tell the president not what he wants to hear, but what he needs to hear, and also provide solutions along the way.
Alrighty, let's keep the conversation going then. We noticed reports have it that there was a little fracas yesterday at the Ogun Tribunal, Ogun State Petition Tribunal. A sitting started. As a matter of fact, we hear the session was sort of interrupted with thugs, trying to intimidate, in quote, the former a PDP chieftain. What's your thought on this? Considering also that the essence of this sitting is to resolve issues brought forward by parties aggrieved over the outcome of the elections.
This is not the first time we've had this kind of drama at the Election Petition Tribunal in Ogun State. I think during the second term of OGB, if I'm correct, or the first term, we had such situation. And of course, during the 2011 Election Petition Tribunal, the post-election Petition Tribunal in 2011, we had this kind of drama taking place too. And maybe 2015, political or party politicians will be able to look for a way to distract people from the meat of the matter, and every side will be saying their story. I've read the communique put out by the APC camp, by the media aide to the governor, where they were saying, oh, it was the PDP that started the fracas, that many of them were saying Wumi is a traitor, that they don't want him to enter. It was this and that. But you see, whatever the story is, the major focus should be on what is happening in and at the tribunal, such that we will know the exact situation of who is going to remain substantive governor at the end of the day. All this drama will always happen, and it is not just an Ogun State thing. It will most states where people feel aggrieved, especially when the result is a close call like we have in Ogun State. You will always see this sort of drama. This sort of drama played out in Osun State for almost, yes, I think Osun State, yes, for almost 3 years before Adegbeshola reclaimed his mandate way back, I think, 2010, thereabout. So it's to be expected.
For those who don't know what exactly is happening or happened yesterday, let's just say that well, first, the Ogun State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in Abeokuta yesterday began hearing the petition of the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Oladipo Adebutu challenging the re-election of Governor Dapo Abiodun of the All Progressives Congress, and chairman of the three-man tribunal, Justice Amidu Kunaza, said the tribunal received 4 petitions with 2 already struck out. But that's not the gist. Just as Gbenga has mentioned, at the tribunal, the governorship candidate of the PDP, Ladi Adebutu, well, I just told you, is challenging the emergence of Governor Abiodun. But while the sitting commenced, right, within the court, the political thugs, set of political thugs stormed there. But let's go on a very short break. We'll be back to complete this story.
Confidence to light the road. That's why I'm deliberate about how I nourish my skin. I use a soap made with the right natural ingredients.
A soap? Which one?
A soap that contains shea butter and aloe vera, turmeric and honey for a glowing skin.
Experience the new Joy Black Soap, made with over 7 natural ingredients that moisturize, restore, and repair your skin, giving you the confidence to be who you love to be. Joy, beauty my way.
Hold on tight.
I'm Olufemi Pedro. I'm Omoyele Showore.
My name is Honorable Akim Dixon.
This is Honorable Adekunle Akobada.
I'm Dili Momodu, and you are listening to Law FM 103.9 for knowledge and entertainment. Your only law radio station.
Thanks indeed for being there. Gbenga Ayannuga is a social commentator, is right there on the line talking to us about issues in the news this morning. Okay, so let's keep the conversation going. We're just telling you about what happened the Ogun State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in Abeokuta yesterday. So while sitting commenced within the courts, the political thugs stormed the tribunal premises with canes, otherwise known as in Yoruba, pankere, right? In their hands, and freely used them on the opposition members. They reportedly, the thugs who were not near the members of the tribunal were seen attacking their political enemies with canes, while policemen and security agents looked away. The report also says that the victims were beaten by these thugs and chased away. Among those beaten was a former PDP governorship aspirant in the state, Segun Shomi. Just to put the reports forward so you'd understand what exactly we were talking about. But that's that with that story. Let's get to some more stories for you this morning.
Yes, Gbenga, I mean, this issue of insecurity is, very, very important. And that's why I want to take you back to what, the former IGP, Dr. Michael Kiro, said just recently. In fact, he has expressed his confidence in, President Tinubu's ability to solve Nigeria's security challenges, banditry, kidnapping, and other security challenges. How soon do you think that this will happen?
Well, you can't put timeline on when solving security challenges will happen, because no matter your best efforts as a president, there are a lot of issues and counter issues vis-a-vis the temperament of the temperature of the society at that moment, the ethnic coloration to issues in Nigeria, the religious coloration to issues in Nigeria. These are big traps that you need to carefully test so that while you are solving one problem, you don't create 10 other problems. So you can't really put a timeline to it. We saw the ethnic violence by the
Oh dear, Gbenga, so sorry. We can barely hear the thing you're saying now. We probably need to reconnect with you so that we can hear you well, and then of course have this smooth conversation. So let's keep it going real quick. We'll try to reestablish connections with Gbenga Ayannuga, who's a guest today on the show. All right, so we've been talking stories in the news as reported by Nigerian dailies. Gbenga, thank you for returning. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for being there.
Now?
Yeah, it's way better now. So you were saying that you can't put a timeline to this so that you don't create further problems.
Yes, and so all we just need is to keep faith with the presidency. I mean, they've been doing a lot to solve the crisis in Syria, in Libya, and several other places, even in Yemen, that have this kind of situations that we have in this country. And it is not a one-size-fits-all solution that you can get. So if you are putting a timeline, you are putting the system under undue pressure that will make them along the line create more problems while trying to solve the ones that are on ground. But what we need at all times that will ensure that we get to the final destination is a president that shows that he is hands-on, not a president that will be waiting for the nation to be begging him to address issues before he starts taking proactive measures to make sure that issues don't metastasize before they are addressed. So, and we can see thus far with the body language, actions and reactions of this new president that they are hands-on. Let's just hope that they will not be like us now, that will have initial gra and not be able to.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Arsenal fans come for you now.
I see what you did there, but hey, it's fine. Talking about being hands-on, the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOESU, has suspended its indefinite strike for 21 days, and this happened after the leadership of the union met with President Bola Tinubu yesterday, and the president told them during the meeting that his administration has this resolve to revive public confidence in Nigeria's health sector. And yet, according to Abiodun Oladunjoye, the director of information in the State House, he said the president harped on the importance of the health sector and professionals in the sector, and then urged them to go back to work. He described their work as one of commitment to humanity, promising to resolve all identified problems plaguing the system for optimum performance. Some persons have commended the president as regards his approach to addressing this challenges facing his his goal to hit the ground running so far in his first week. How would you assess his approach?
Like I said, we should just say that this will not be initial gra-gra. If the president can sustain this momentum of meeting people directly, because many of the reasons why many of the strikes that we've had before with labor unions, different unions, prolong too much is that they are delegated to other ministers, permanent secretaries who conduct themselves as king gods to be worshipped, and rather than face issues and look for a way to find solutions, they want these union leaders to be worshipping them. You can see in the utterances of the former Minister for Labor, who was calling doctors children, or he was referring to them as though they were his house help during the time of the I think President Doctor's issue that time. But now this president is showing that I'm hands-on, I'm ready to meet with you. And you see, psychologically, this have there is an impact this have on the warring party that says, see, this person takes us serious and is ready to talk for us. Let us also find a way to meet him halfway. I remember when I used to lead student union Amika. When we go to governor's office to express our grievances over any issue, if the governor comes out immediately and talk to us, it will look as though the governor used gas to talk to us. All the problem will be solved. But most of the time, the two governors who will rather choose to send maybe an SA, then if the SA can't handle it, they will now send the commissioner. Those are the ones that the problem will first aggravate to a level that is beyond control before the governor now shows it. Because sending your SA, sending your commissioner shows that you are not taking these people serious, you are not taking their complaints serious. But this president is showing by his action that, see, guys, I'm taking you serious. I know you have a right to some of these protests, but even while expressing your rights, we must all work together to make this country function. And this is what the seriousness in me. So it is easier for them to also say, okay, where can we compromise and meet halfway? Hence the 21-day suspension. And I'm sure that before the expiration of the 21-day suspension of strike action, they would have been able to talk more robustly and find middle ground to solve the problem at hand.
Well, Gbenga, there's another news headline here from The Nation. It says court dismisses Keyamo's suit seeking Atiku's arrest for alleged corruption. And if you check out the story, the major reason, or one of the reasons for the dismissal, is that the suit is frivolous and vexatious. I mean, when you got wind of this news, what were your views on them?
Yeah, well, I thought what was soup for the goose is also soup for the gander. Remember that about a few days ago or a week, a particular political party that sought that approached the court was fined for I forgot now the name, the petition he brought. The guy that said he won from 2019. And that since they didn't allow him to rule, then he should now be allowed to rule. The court fined him, and you see a lot of APC guys jumping up and down, writing a lot of to throw snide remarks at that person. Now it's their turn to receive a taste of their own medicine. I don't know much about the law, but I believe that the judiciary knows better, and they must have acted based on information available to them.
But well, Gbenga, I mean, if you look at the case in court, Keyamo was simply saying that based on, an information or claims by one of Abubakar's aides.
I believe such should have been instituted by the police. Keyamo should not.
Keyamo wrote to the police. He wrote to the ICPC, the EFCC, and the CBC. That's CCB. That's the Code of Conduct Bureau. I gave them 72 hours to, take out an action against Atiku Abubakar. But perhaps after the exhaustion of that period or ultimatum, he now,
all the security organizations have access to facility that the armor does not have access to. And if they deem it fit that the matter is worth considering, or that there is meat in the matter to take it up, they would have done that. They felt in their own intelligence. You see a lot of things happen on social media that we want people or organizations to react in certain ways. But don't forget that these government agencies have access to some certain kind of information that we don't have access to. So we should trust the process. And if you say because you are in government and you have access to the law court and you wrote to the law court and the court finds this case frivolous and a waste of their time and they find you, I believe they know better.
There's a response though from Festus Keyamo Chambers, right? And this was released yesterday. He's vowed to appeal that court decision, the dismissal of the suit to compel investigations of Atiku over the special purpose vehicle saga. Okay, and he said in this particular statement, press release, signed by the assistant head of chambers, the Abuja office, John Inato. He said, quote, I'll just quote directly, our client respectfully disagrees with the reasons for the said decision because the law enforcement agencies did not indicate their willingness to commence investigations, even if they were given more time. We want to establish a legal principle that the society cannot wait as infinitum for law enforcement agencies to do their statutory duties. The suit was designed to prompt the agencies to show their readiness to investigate. We are immediately filing an appeal against the said decision to the Court of Appeal as the struggle on the issue continues. End the quote.
It is their prerogative to appeal, and if they win or lose at the appeal, it is the prerogative of the other side to go ahead to the determination at the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
But since the case is already in the court of law, and they know better all the technicalities and implications of the law, I think it should allow them to take their due course.
Yeah, but the flip side to this conversation would be the role or the willingness of this law enforcement to do this job. So again, I mean, we wouldn't know, because sometimes you hear that spokesperson of this enforcement agencies say that investigations are ongoing. They need to complete that, before they make arrest or prosecute, right? But sometimes, like this statement says from Festus Keyamo Chambers, it says that society cannot wait for these agencies infinitum. Like, we cannot continue to wait forever for them to complete this. At some point, we've seen cases where it's been swept under the carpet.
Will they take the law into their own hands? The police and the authorities would have even finished their investigation, and they discover that if we pursue this case, we have more to lose than to gain. We could cause pockets of violence that will not worth the pursuing of this case. Because don't forget, some of these politicians will round you up, will round the society up to cause more damage, and then they will be crying foul.
So we can let alleged. I'm not speaking directly to this particular matter now, and my question is just general. So we can let alleged corrupt officials walk because we are scared that it could spiral into some form of violence, pocket of violence.
I'm saying we should allow the police, who have 1,000% information more than you and I, based on their judgment of the matter, do their job.
Even if respectfully that their judgment and wisdom is faulty, respectfully.
I'm not a friend or fan of the police, but what I've come to learn is that many situations we see are usually like the tip of the iceberg. We see the tip of the iceberg on top and we start crying foul. Do this, let's do that. Normally we will say, oh, we can run into it now, we can. but they know better. And sometimes, some cases, we should just allow their wisdom based on superior information, because based on our own level of access to information, correct. But on the long run, time will reveal all secrets.
Absolutely. And I mean, Gbenga, I would like to agree with you here. The position of the law in matters like this, and I'm even surprised that this statement is coming from, that office. Position of the law in matters like this is the police force, the security agencies are vested with constitutional powers for prosecution. So prosecutorial powers belong to law enforcement agencies. However, individual in the criminal way, you get the fiat of the AG of the federation or of the AG of the state that you want to carry out that prosecution. If you don't get that AG, you get an order of mandamus compelling that public institution to institute that proceedings. You don't have that power without a fiat of the court. Perhaps they want to set a new record for us, but let's see what happens at the end of the day.
All right, Gbenga, we need to go on a short break. We'll be back in a moment, and we'll wrap this session and go straight to the discourse here.
How do you do it?
My skin gives me the extra confidence to light up the room. That's why I'm deliberate about how I nourish my skin. I use a soap made with the right natural ingredients.
A soap? Which one?
A soap that contains shea butter and aloe vera, turmeric and honey for a glowing skin.
Experience the new Joy Black Soap, made with over 7 natural ingredients that moisturize, restore, and repair your skin, giving you the confidence to be who you love to be. Joy, beauty my way.
When you listen to this station, you learn about your rights. You discover the law in ways you never imagined. You know why? Because we broadcast in your interest.
It's a problem that we are all experiencing in the country. Different parts of the country, the same thing is happening. So who do we call on to? Who do we hold responsible?
We impact knowledge.
If the grid is unable to shed the load that it ought to, it could also result in the collapse of the national grid.
Call it what you may, but we are here to stay. The law was never biased, so why should it be now? To every individual, we are Law FM 103.9.
There are no internal electricity boards.
56 minutes past 9, and we're done with the newsstand. Let's go straight to